Hey.
Hello.
Hi, Pascal.
Hi. Yes, I have a question. It is somehow about dynamic collection. I did use dynamic collection with, I'm using Supabase with WeWeb.
Mhm.
I did use some dynamic collection for users who have access to all the data. So depending on where they click on, they can see data for Germany or for UK or for Spain. But I also have some local users who shall never see data from other countries. So
Mhm.
in this case, I did not use dynamic collection. I filtered the data in Supabase with a view for each country.
Mhm.
Because I understood looking at different tutorials that if I filter the data in WeWeb with a dynamic collection, then security is not 100%.
No, because the data is still being loaded in the browser. Even if it's not visible, it's loaded. Yeah.
Okay, so now my question is, I'm fine with the Supabase
So,
views. Yes, sorry.
yeah, I may add something because you filtered with the query configuration, right? In the plugin. But when you created a collection, you filtered there in the
Uh,
query configuration block.
uh, There, yes, when I'm talking to global users who are
Okay, so
entitled to see everything. But when I'm talking to local users, they
you
only
are
they
using views.
yes, exactly.
Okay, so you won't load all the data in here because in
Mm,
the query configuration or in views, you will only load the data that you ask for.
yeah.
The issue is that you cannot trust the front-end users. So if someone with malicious goals can go into the console and ask for another query, can look for the endpoint and can make a REST API call. So what you have to do is to create a RLS, in Supabase.
Yes,
It's how
Row
you
level
can
security. Yeah.
yeah,
row level security, exactly. So the most important thing is to protect your data with the row level security in Supabase. This is
Mm.
really the place where you have to put the security. Then, with some query configuration or with some views, you will load only the data that you need. But
okay.
for security
Mm.
reasons, you need to work on your row level
Yeah,
security.
true.
So,
I do have row level security on all my tables in Supabase.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is that as long as I do have row level security, then I could use a dynamic collection in WeWeb instead of
yes,
Yeah.
doing 10
Yeah.
or
Because
20
it's
or
yeah,
automatic. Yeah.
okay,
exactly.
okay,
S-
okay,
Supabase will respect these rules. And the thing
okay.
is, you don't even need views, I think, because if you've got roles and
Mhm.
permissions inside Supabase, then you can have like your row level security saying if the user is admin, because you can get the current logged in user. If
Mhm.
he's or she's an admin, then you send back all the data. If she's not, for example, you will check the website she's in and then send only, sorry, the country. So you will send only rows related to this country, for example. And you
Okay,
can do this in SQL using row level security.
okay, that's very clear. Okay, so that's how I will do it. Thanks a lot.
No
You're
worries.
welcome. And use
Yeah.
ChatGPT or their AI tool to generate those whole level security. It's really much more easier. It's working really nice with
Okay,
ChatGPT to generate that.
okay,
It's
I
hard
will.
to write.
Okay, I will do so. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye, Pascal.
Yeah, let me just check something. Yeah, so I saw that someone raised the hand among the people, Ramsha, I think. Yeah, so the people, for people that are new, please present yourself in the chat. But if you want to ask questions, don't raise your hand. Please ask them in the questions and answer part of Zoom so that we can get them in order. We can read them and hopefully invite you on stage. So yeah, please use the question and answer. So exactly the opposite. You've done exactly the opposite of what I just said, but no worries. Like raising your hand is not useful. Please ask them. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, like this. Cool. Bertrand is asking, lookup isn't working. Default value for date, assigning date to variable doesn't work. Yeah, so it's really vague. So we'll invite you, but please, if you could describe them in the question and answer panel more, maybe that help. But in the meantime, no worries. We'll invite you, Bertrand.
Okay.
Hey.
Hello.
Hey.
Hi, Bertrand.
Well, I will share my screen. It won't take long, I think, because I already fixed many important things. Let me know which one. Oh yeah, okay, here, this one. Okay, so first of all, you notice already that there is something wrong here. It's an object. And
can you
Yeah.
click on it?
Can you click on this? Yeah, on the binding.
Just moving and go to bind. And
Yes.
I use the formula to look
Yeah,
up the vendors.
see here, Bertrand, what you've done is that you're bound to an entire object. So that's the correct behavior. If you want to display a specific parameter in this object, you need to get the proper key you want to display. So what do you want to display in this, like the vendor ID?
The name of this vendor.
So which key is it in the object? Because you see here, you've got the whole object.
You don't see it here in the object.
I mean, it's not in the lookup.
The table. It's not in this line. It's in another table, which is called vendors.
So how do you link them?
Okay.
This is, let's say, this is my question.
Okay,
because you need an ID between.
This name here.
Yeah, but you need an ID between both collections in order to link them to the right record.
The ID is vendor ID, VID, and it's
okay.
The same ID in the table, in the vendors table.
So then, so you've done it with lookup. So then you should do .vname, v_name, because here you're bound to the lookup is working. So basically what is done is that it linked to the right vendor's record based on the VID, but you're getting the whole record, and that's the intended purpose. You're getting the whole object. So now what you should do is either use a formula to get the value for a certain key, or you can cheat in a way, because it's JavaScript, so you can use the name of the key to get only the value for a certain key in this object. For example, after your lookup, if you were to type .v_name after the lookup at the end of the formula,
really
at the end. No, really at the end.
Huh?
After the parenthesis.
Yeah, after the last parenthesis, like at the end.
Remove that here.
No, don't remove anything.
This is right.
This is right. And what is wrong?
You should add a key, because what we want to do is that we want to navigate in this object to tell the binding, I should get only this key in this object. So what you should do is that at the end of the lookup, let your formula as is, go at the end.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. And then type dot. So it's saying, I want to go inside this object on a specific key, and then the name of the key you're using. So here it was v_name.
No, then
no.
Yeah,
name.
Yeah.
And now it's working.
That was too easy. I don't like that.
And if you want to do it truly no code, you can use, like, there's a formula key, it's called get key value, and basically it will search for a key and get you the value for this key.
Let's do it with the formula too. Let's take the time. So can you remove the .vname, please, Bertrand?
The what?
Can you remove the .vname, just what you added?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that people can see.
Yes. Can you go at the beginning of the formula, really at the beginning, before lookup? We will wrap this formula with another one. And now can you go into the formula tab?
No need
yes.
for...
Oh, you can.
Okay.
You can go there. And it's called get key value, I think.
Yeah.
Get key, yes, this one.
Okay.
So here,
And
the
so-
first parameter is the object where you want to search, and the second one is the name of the key you want to search.
Okay, so I want to search in vendors. No.
yeah, no,
Yeah,
you can just remove the end of the formula. Remove the let
Everything.
get keep you first parentheses, yes, and then yes, we can in here, perfect.
Wait a minute.
In just before lookup.
Yeah, it doesn't want to remove it.
I think it's just
I
visual.
removed everything. So
No, don't do this.
It was right. It was right, really. You will get it. Just remove what you have before lookup until
Everything.
the first. Yeah, just get key value and the first parenthesis.
Okay.
And remove also the second parenthesis in here, just before lookup. So you will just have one,
I'm
not two.
sure if I can get this. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Here you mean.
yeah.
Yes.
This
Okay.
one.
I think it will work. Yes. And
Nice.
so can you put your mouse on top of get key value just to get, the documentation? Yes. You see in here, you need to put first the object and then the key. So your lookup is returning an object. So this is right. So after that, you just have to put the key name.
Yeah.
So at the end of this, after you are just before the last parameter, you just add comma.
The last parenthesis, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, really at the end.
Here.
Here, yes. Comma. And between quotes, v_name. So this is another way to do it.
And basically think about it like Excel functions. So what it does is that lookup is getting evaluated first, then the object is returned, and get key value will use this object and search for the key inside it. So you can chain as many formulas as you want together. But in the end, it's not a bug at all, because lookup is supposed to get you an object. Yep. Because basically you want to match a record, a whole record, and a record is an object in the end. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, okay, but what's the difference between what I had first lookup and this get key?
This is the full no-code way. The other one is that it's just because formulas in the end, they are like JavaScript, they are converted to JavaScript. So people don't know that you can still write JavaScript. And when you do that, a key name, it's the way in JavaScript you get inside an object to get
the value.
A key.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, of course, the similar question would be, how can I select in a list field, for instance, the name of this vendor? Because now I have to enter the ID currently here, you see? Instead, I would, of course, like to select from a list.
Can you tell us what backend you're using?
Supabase.
Supabase, okay. So I think you can do a better job.
Yeah, I think so.
Like with the collection, no, you will just with the query configuration to get the value from the foreign key instead of doing it like this. You can do it like this.
Okay, wait a minute. The problem is that I also want to update this. And if I use a view, I cannot update fields from different tables.
You will be able to update, but you're gonna need to use the ID and not the name. So Supabase is going to wait for an ID to update the record.
Yeah.
So in your workflow, when you need to update this record, when you're gonna have to bind the parameters, you're gonna have to select the ID and not the name in there.
Yeah.
But what you can do, can you show us the collection and how you
let's say this is in jobs. No, wait. This is in jobs, yeah.
And in jobs, you've got vendor ID, right?
Yeah. What I get here. Let's say.
Yeah, can you click? Okay.
The job I was showing. I get the vendor ID.
So vendor ID. Okay. So in here, and vendor ID is a foreign key, right? In your Supabase, it's linked to. Okay. So what we can do also is to use you see in here in the fields you've got guided, but you also have advanced. You see here?
Yeah. Oh.
Okay. So in here you've got a way to get directly the name in one call without having done
Okay, I
that.
understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me find the docs
Okay.
in Supabase for this.
So we can create a small example. For example, you see in here you've got supplier, and then supplier ID, and between parentheses name. It's the same for you. So in here you can add vendor name with the syntax, and then v_id, and under parentheses the column you want from one vendor.
Yeah, I understand. Okay.
And so you can play in here to really get in one call all the data you need, and it prevents you from using lookup and all those formula for this simple use case at least.
That's great. Okay. So
Otherwise, because this is really specific to Supabase, if other people were using something like Xano or like a normal backend, what I would do, tell me if I'm wrong, Flo, but when you select the record, then you get the ID, like ask your database to get the related ID to the proper table and get back the whole value of the record so that you can use it in the form. You can also like get one item.
Yeah, you can do that. In Xano, you would use add-on in your endpoint.
Yeah, you can use add-ons also as well.
It's even easier. But in Airtable, you would have to whether add a new column with a lookup formula or get the two collections and do like Bertrand did.
Okay, so that's resolved already. What the date? I go to this another page. Page PO. And here I want to enter a date manually, the PO date, before sending. By the way, sending works fine. I use a special view because I don't want to edit anything here, but I need to enter the date. And if I do that, I would like to have today as the default value. And I don't see how to do that. And another issue, if I click on a date, the value
you won't have the variable because
it's
it's in a list, right? Okay. So you need to do. Okay, so first, the initialization. So can you go to the edit mode and select the date elements, please? Okay, so I'm not, I think you selected the text. I really need the parent. To select the parent, you can just go to the name on it. Yeah, you see in here, it's a small trick. You can go here, or you can go on the name. You see where it's written placeholder container. You see here.
Yeah.
You can here or on the page, but it's not a big deal. Okay. Can you select the date element, the PO date?
The pure date.
Yeah, really the parent.
This one.
Yeah. Not the parents. Not the child. Yeah.
Okay, this one. Yeah.
This one. And now you can go in the setting tab, so the second tab in here, yeah. And you're gonna see in here you've got somewhere
init value, just here, you're on it.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So you can bind this to your data. So to
date.
No, I would like to show today's date.
Then date one .no. I think something like this with the date plugin. You can ask for no. I think.
Yes, you need to add the date plugin, and in the date plugin, you're gonna have a lot of formulas to do that.
Oh, how nice! Okay.
I'll send the docs on the date plugin as well. Let me find them.
This is a normal date plugin or the date time plugin?
It's a dead.js, I think. So yeah.
Look,
Yeah,
wait.
if you go to the plugin, really to the plugin, you need to add the plugin first. So not this one.
Okay, okay. I
You,
have to.
so read in the plugins.
Wait a minute, where's the plugin?
Just
Here?
after, no, on the right.
The puzzle block.
Yes, the puzzle block. Yeah. This one.
Yeah. Okay.
And in here, if you go to extensions.
Yeah. Dates.
Yes, this one.
Okay. Okay. I just make a little screenshot.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
You can click on it and now go to your init value again on the right. And in the formula, in the formula tab.
Okay, yeah.
You will see in here new formulas.
Oh,
you see
yeah.
at the bottom you've got dates. And if you open it.
Open it now. Yeah. Oh, I see.
You should see something like today or now.
I also see format date. This is exactly what I missed.
Yeah.
Okay, today I don't see, but
I think you could do.
I think it just dates.
Now.
I think the first one, yes. The first one by default should return the yes, that's it.
Yes, today.
Yeah, it's actually.
But if you want to use time zones and change the formatting according to the country, you could also use parameters to send this to these formulas.
Okay, that's not.
And in here, I think you should select to date ISO to have the standard dates.
More.
This is the detail.
Where am I?
Yes, you need to select the parent. Yes, this one.
Custom format. Yeah. Okay.
Not this one. No, in the init value. Yeah, in here. But both should work. But I guess it's easier to work with the
ISO dates.
Yes, ISO date. So if you go to the formula tab instead of date, you've got another one called
data ISO.
Data ISO. You may need to wrap it. Yeah, maybe.
Okay, I remove that, and then we see what happens.
Yeah, and inside this you put date.
Yeah.
You can just click on it, by the way. You're not obliged to drag and drop.
Date. And
but it was already ISO. I said I think it was a mistake. Sorry. But so now you can work with those formula here.
But that could be interesting for other people because I know it's not known from no coders, but it's best practice in the development world to always use UTC dates, because if you have users on multiple time zones, if you mix the time zones in your backend, you're screwed basically, because then you will have to convert them. So it's best practice to always use UTC on your backend and let the front end display it in the user's time zone on the fly.
Time zone, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Last thing is the absurd. I always have an ID, and you said if the ID of the record is empty, then it will be absurd. Yeah, it will be. I will create a new record, but how can I avoid that the ID is existing? You know, the record ID is let's say.
I don't get it.
Let's go.
Why do you have an existing ID if the ID is empty?
If I add a job, well, I want to add a job to this, to a task, for instance. Wait a minute, maybe I'm wrong. If I add a, yeah, then I should not select the line. Then the idea is, of course, empty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I think I got it. Okay. Last question. Only a question.
Last one for this one, because we need to let the room for others. But we are listening to you.
well, do I need different variables for task updated, job updated, project updated? That is, are the variables saved in the browser of the user, or are they globally, let's say, when there is another user?
No, it's in your current browser. And
so it's only for me. Well,
it's only for you, or only for the people, like the user that will use it. And it's only for one browser. If the user logs back and you're not fetching it from the backend, it won't be in his browser. If he's, for example, on mobile and he used to be on desktop, he won't get the variables, except if you're fetching them from the backend, which is another story, because that's why you use a backend. Basically, it's to make variables persist, because you really to think that everything that you see in WeWeb only lives in the current user browser, like nowhere else. And you have options in the variables to make them persist in local storage. So if the user quits and then go back, he will see it again. Otherwise, they will be destroyed on every page view.
Yeah, I have to say, WeWeb is really the best tool I ever experienced, and I'm really
Thank you very much.
Also, something I never saw before, to put the variables in specific folders. This is really, really great, because then you don't have a huge list, but just some folders, and you can select there.
Yeah.
Somebody was a magician.
And for folders, or the thing you asked on Supabase, I would really recommend you to checking our YouTube channel, because Joyce made awesome tutorials around this, especially with Supabase.
Videos almost.
Yeah. So because especially she's done a course with Supabase and using variables and stuff, it's also like in tutorials. So yeah, I think it would be really useful. I send you also the docs on the Supabase, like using join tables. So hopefully it should be okay.
Thank you very much.
No worries.
Thank you very much, Bertrand.
Made me happy.
Nice.
Have a good day.
Have a good day.
Okay, so Pascal again. Questions are on paragraph, so same will invite you. Is there a way to fix color for specific items? How can I display the values in the graph? So this is really depending on so graphs, they are based on Chart.js, and basically you should check Chart.js documentation. So I will send it in the chat before I invite you on stage, or let me invite you first. But basically you should check their API, and I will try to find Chart.js docs. But it's definitely doable now, what you're asking. So here.
Hello again.
Hey.
Hey.
Again, Pascal.
Hello again. Well, you answered my question. That's why I thought I need to go in advanced or not guided mode, I guess, for the.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
Yeah. So you answered my question. That's what I wanted to avoid.
No worries.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, because you've got another one on data grid. Yeah, go ahead.
No, but regarding just what you said before about variables, I saw a tutorial from you, Quentin, about variables. And in this tutorial, you said, do click this variable to be local, so it's persistent from one page to another. But since then, since your tutorial, your interface has progressed, and now you have two choices. One is persistence throughout navigation, and then you have local. And I wondered what's the point of clicking on local if persistent is on.
So the difference between those two, so the first one is to keep the value of your variable when you navigate between pages.
Yes.
If you close your tab and you go back to the application, you will have the init value. It won't be persistent. If you save it in your local storage, it will really persist. So every time your user is going back to the application, is going to have the last updated value of your variable. So basically, local storage could be dangerous because you always have a way to reset this variable. So you need to be careful with this. So this is really useful for for example, light and dark mode value you need to save because you
Okay.
don't want your user to every time select it. But for the rest, usually persistence throughout the navigation is enough.
Okay.
And otherwise, you should save the data into your backend. Because if you save too many things in local storage, you take the risk to have a behavior that you don't want because you forgot to think about how the user could reset this value. So you need to use local storage carefully.
Okay, that's very clear. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, and let's do, while you're here, let's do your data grid question.
Yes,
so that
please.
it's done. So for the currency value, I think the best way would be to use a text value and then format the currency using formulas. Because
even better, a custom
even better
with a currency element.
Yeah.
Sorry, I did not hear you, Florian.
So you have two solutions. So the first one is like Q said, to use a text and some formulas to format.
Okay.
So this is one way, and another way that could be easier is to use a custom column in the data grid. And in the custom column, you're gonna be able to drag and drop any element you like. So you can drag and drop a currency element we have, and you're gonna be able to customize it easily.
You do have a currency element, because what I did in the table, not in the grid, is that I drag and drop a number element, and then in the formatting, I could choose a currency. But I didn't see a currency element. Maybe I didn't look enough for it.
Or maybe it's number, but let me check. May have forgotten that.
No, you don't have a currency. No, sorry. Elements. Currency. No, I can't find any, unless I need to add on a plugin.
I thought it was formula personally, but yeah.
But
maybe it's in a number element.
I did do it with a
right,
number.
It's number.
Okay,
it's number.
Number.
It's number, and then the style, the currency style.
Exactly. Okay, so I will add a custom column in my grid. Okay, great. That's perfect. Thanks a lot for your help.
No worries.
Bye.
See you.
Bye.
Okay, so let's answer both of Ramsha's questions. So I have a question regarding including a JavaScript library in the head section of the page. So we don't know which one, so we'll invite you. And then the other question was another question around WeWeb being able to listen for an async event in the backend and update something on the front end. So let's answer the second question first, because we have an answer for this. Hey, we can't hear you. I think you're still muted.
Sorry. Hey, folks.
No worries. Hey, so for the second question on async events, you mean WebSockets?
Webhooks.
Or webhooks? Okay, so this is something that's not currently doable in WeWeb. We are working on this. I know that my roommate, who is actually a developer at WeWeb, was working on this. So I mean, it's only WebSocket and webhooks. We don't have an ETA yet. Tell me if I'm wrong, Flo.
No worries.
But right now it's not possible to react, like let the backend tell the front end that something happened. So you could still fetch.
The way I'm doing it right now is to have an infinite loop going on the front end, fetching for any change in the back end, and then render that in the front end, which I think is going to kill the users.
Yeah, beware with this, because we've been asked this a lot. And the thing is, if the loop breaks or like is infinite, it can like kill the browser. So
yeah. Okay, fair enough.
You've got
answers.
One way to do it though with Supabase. What backend are you using?
I'm using Xano.
Xano, okay. So, Xano is working on it.
Okay, awesome.
Because it's mainly a backend feature. I mean, if we cannot do it just on our own. It's we need to have it into your backend you are using, and then we can create let's say the front end block that can discuss with your backend. For example, with Supabase, we have it because you've got real time tables in Supabase, and I know for
Xano.
From Xano, they are really working on it. This is on top of their lists. And so you can be sure that when they release it, we're going to be ready for
Awesome.
this.
That's awesome. That's awesome. The other question was around, I'm trying to integrate with Paddle for handling my payments. And they expect me to include a .js file as part of the head section of my page, right? I've managed to do that. What's happening is sometimes when I click the button, on my front end, which references the paddle.js file, sometimes the expected event happens, which is opening of an overlay to fill out the pricing, card details, etc., etc. Sometimes it happens, but sometimes I see an error in the console where I see no reference found for paddle.js file.
Are you adding it in the head or like in an iframe because the thing is like everything that's added in the head or body is only added on the published app. It's not in the editor. So you can't use it in the editor.
I tested out in the published version, and that's where I'm running into this error, not in the editor.
That's weird because if it's in the head, it should be loaded.
And what I also experience, if it helps you debug, is when I refresh the page, then I'm able to get the desired behavior.
Maybe pre-rendering, no?
Yeah, I think so too. So could you create a ticket in the support into the support app so the tech team could take a look to it? So I think it's a pre-render issue maybe. So if you don't need SEO on your application, when you click publish, you've got an advanced tab and you can disable the pre-render. So you can try that if you don't need SEO.
Okay. Do you mind sharing your screen and showing me where this? Under the publish button. Yeah, there is the pre-render.
You click publish, and you'll see when you're in the advanced, you've got a toggle, and you can disable the pre-rendering. So you can try that. But in any case, it should work with the pre-rendering. So please create a ticket so the tech team could take a look.
Yeah. And Paddle is in our list of plugins for next year, I think. So 2024, because this is a payment service, it will be easier if you have like the native plugin. But in the meantime, it should work.
And is there an NPM package for that?
There is, but I'm using their JavaScript invocation.
Okay, because we just released an NPM plugin. Maybe you didn't know.
I didn't.
So in the plugin, you've got it's still in beta, but it could work. So you could try. You could try it out. So if you go to the plugins and check for NPM, you should be able to find the package, and then it will work in the editor.
Yeah.
Got it.
The difference, you won't have to publish it to test it. So this is
understood.
Nice.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot. I didn't ask this particular question in the chat, but you mind if I just ask as a quick follow-up to what one of the previous participants asked about the variables being preserved on navigation?
Sure.
Very quickly, what is a good use case to preserve on navigation, and what is a good use case to not preserve on navigation? Could you give an example each, please?
Yeah, if your variable is only used on one page and you don't need it in another page, then you don't need to preserve it into the navigation. So when you do that, you would save some, let's say, data. It will load less things. So let me rephrase it. If a variable is needed on multiple pages, preserve on navigation.
Got it.
If it's not needed, just remove it.
Got it. That helps. Awesome. Thank you. Thanks, folks.
No worries.
Welcome.
See ya.
See ya. Bye.
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 So we have a question from Juan Kumar. Sorry if I'm getting the names wrong. Hi. First time in WeWeb exploring the platform. One question, is ChatGPT aware of the WeWeb considering the knowledge cutoff of ChatGPT? So I think if you're asking ChatGPT about WeWeb, no, because I think they stopped crawling the web in 2021. But if you're using WeWeb Copilot, it's actually using ChatGPT under the hood, and we trained it on our documentations, YouTube videos, community, and the chat. So normally it should be able to answer everything related to WeWeb. So at the top of the navigator in the editor, you've got the WeWeb Copilot. You can ask questions about the product, and you can also use it to generate formulas in JavaScript or no-code formulas, and even generate elements. So we've got a nice video also around this, so we'll try to find it back. But yeah, like normal ChatGPT is aware of WeWeb back in 2021 when we were still a website builder. So sometimes it says that we are a website builder. So don't use this one, please use the WeWeb Copilots.
Exactly.
Zaj is asking another question. I'm new here and this is my first Zoom office hours. I don't want to interrupt. Feel free to interrupt. But how does it work? Can I ask a question, or is the call for questions related to a specific topic? So it's related to any problem you might have in the product, if you're not able to do something in the product, if you don't understand something. The thing is, if you have commercial questions, we are not the right people to do this. So maybe you can send an email to Slavo or Rafael, who are in charge of this. But if you have any question related to the product and how to use it, you're in the right place.
And also bugs.
Yeah,
bugs here. Because
we can't do anything during the office hours, sadly, because that would be super powerful. If we would be happy to do this, but it's impossible. But basically, you can use the support.weweb.io to ask for if you have a bug. And if you're needing a new feature, you can use feedback.weweb.io. And if you want to find both these links in the bottom right of your screen, you have the question mark icon. And if you click on it, you've got ask for a feature and report a bug. So yeah. You added a comment to the questions. Oh, yeah. So questions on Supabase. I'm looking to start a project using WeWeb and Supabase. Alexi already provided valuable insights. I will tell him because I'm living with this guy, so he will be happy. In the forum concerning server dependencies, based on Alexi's feedback about certain features, secure page feature, WeWeb off, Airtable, and other, can I safely assume that all other plugins and extensions won't require communication with WeWeb servers? 2, do you have any recommended tutorials and resources for setting up a WeWeb plus Supabase project? Yes, we do, and I will send you this. Do you foresee any limitation from WeWeb's end concerning AI and ML integration? So we'll invite you to be sure to get all the questions right. But I don't see any limitations because AI products are using API. So in the end, you can communicate with them with the REST API plugin. Yeah. And we've done a full tutorial back in the days live stream with Lachlan from Zano, but it would be the same with Supabase on how to use WeWeb and OpenAI.
We do have an OpenAI plugin too.
Yeah, we have an OpenAI plugin, yeah. And we were using our own OpenAI plugin. And for the secure page, WeWeb off, Airtable, for WeWeb off, you would need WeWeb servers set up, but they are open source, so you can host them normally. But for the rest, normally you should be okay without any servers. Except maybe, Flo, I'm wrong, if you use open or on OpenAI plugin to start the prompt, we need a server, no?
Yeah, let me read again the question so I can understand the scope. Okay, so if you don't want any call to web servers, it depends on.
Hey. Hi, sorry. Can you hear me? I had to switch to my phone because this is I need to get a way to get both to work. No, thank you very much. I appreciate your. This is actually fantastic. To have this weekly is amazing because help and support is one of the main challenges for us non-coders who think we can do stuff, right? So I appreciate that. So the idea is we've been researching so many tools and trying to come up with a strategy or a tech stack that would help us to build the app because it's going to be healthcare app. So having HIPAA compliant in the long, maybe not for the MVP, but keeping that in the initial tech stack would be important to make sure we can scale up or be compliant with HIPAA. And we came up with basically, and I strongly believe in open sharing and open science in general. So in the forum, we shared all the stack we think is going to be the way forward. Basically relying on AWS for hosting, and we looked up so many different backends, and we think Supabase would be the ideal option to be self-hosted. Xano is amazing as a non-code option, but it's not self-hosted, so we were not sure if that's something. And HIPAA is enterprise prices, so it's a little bit outside the reach. For front end, this is where we faced the challenge, because we wanted something that would basically limit the interaction between our front end and back end to securely only the back end we have. And the question we posted on the forum is basically that, and Alex is thanks to him, please share that with your roommate. But yes, basically he provided a list of things we're gonna try to, I mean, hopefully in the future it will be done in a way that we don't have to avoid that. But the secure page feature, the WeWeb auth, Airtable, OpenAI, and REST API with proxy. These are the ones he said that basically utilize the WeWeb server. So my first question is, would anything else like I see the chart.js, the extensions, can we use them safely and not assume that there is any WeWeb server?
Yes, you can. All extensions are front-end only.
Okay.
So it will work just on the front end. So
and they are open source, by the way, so you don't have any right issues as well.
Beautiful. So that's for extensions. So all extensions are fine. And for plugins?
And for plugins, it depends. So if you are using Supabase, it's front-end only. So we are just using the Supabase SDK. So it won't go through our server. So, and I can tell you for sure that it's working well, because we have a client called PwC who is hosting the application in their infrastructure without any access to internet. So it works well.
Okay.
And if you are using the authentication plugin of Supabase, you're gonna have to also host the WeWeb server. So this is another piece, because what you can do is you have two options. You can do a code export to have the front-end application.
Yep,
so it's
that's what we plan. Yeah.
So this one can be hosted anywhere. But if you are using an authentication plugin, for security reason, we have a backend piece of it. Because we don't want. Yeah.
Sorry, just to make sure I'm clear, because this is before we move forward. So, can you please repeat the last point?
Yeah.
And I do want to take from people time, but this is very important.
Yeah.
So
I can rephrase. So if you're using an authentication plugin for security reason, if you want to self-host, you're gonna have to self-host also a little server called WeWeb server.
Okay.
So this is a Docker image basically, and you need to host it only once for all your front-end application. So if you have a client, for example, you can host this server and it can manage multiple front-end applications then. So this is,
that's if I use the auth, the WeWeb auth, because in the forum.
No, all authentication plugins, because
even Supabase. Okay. Because in the forum they mentioned that if you use Supabase, you don't need to even think about the server. That's why I'm confused.
If you really don't want any call to any WeWeb server, you're gonna need to host this WeWeb server.
Okay, which is fine. I'm okay with hosting it, but because in the forum they said if you use Supabase, you wouldn't even need to host the server. That's why I wasn't clear.
Yeah,
okay.
For the data source, but for the authentication, you need it. Yeah.
Okay, so for basically still can host that server, but it means we still gonna be calling everything within our own environment. Nothing goes outside if we host, right? Okay.
Exactly. Basically, I sent you, there is a landing page on this, like we've got a user in the US using us for HIPAA, like for healthcare. And he's HIPAA compliant. And we've made the live stream with him, and he's using Xano and WeWeb, but should be the same with Supabase. And he didn't have any issue because basically the WeWeb app doesn't store data. And if you get the WeWeb server is on your own infrastructure, as Flo said, so it won't touch our servers. And Supabase is open source, so you can host it. And Xano, you can pay for it to be on-premise. So anyway.
So, and one last follow-up question, and apologies. I know there is a lot of people, but so if we host the WeWeb server ourselves, right? Does that mean, because now I'm just looking at the forum question, does that mean we can utilize the things I just mentioned, the secure page feature, the Airtable, everything? So if we host the server, then we're good to use anything, and we should not have any communication. I'm sorry.
Yes, not all the plugins, not all are in the web server for now, but this is something that will be done early next year. Because next year you're going to be able to host your own plugins. Right now it's not yet possible because we are updating our infrastructure, so you could do it. But then you're going to be able just to host one plugin, for example, into your own infrastructure. So this is something we are going to do next year. But right now it depends. So the easier ways for you to ask us just what stack you want, and we will tell you if it's possible or not to be fully self-hosted.
Okay, so for now, this is actually very helpful because it means even if I choose one way, there is always the HIPAA-compliant solution. So even if for the MVP in the future, we could make things change. And thank you very much for sharing for the second part, sharing the tutorials. And I mean, I'm really excited about this new journey.
Nice.
Well, I'm more than happy if anything I find, I'll share it in the forum to also make sure other people are used to. Thank you very much, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
So we still have many questions. We'll try to be quick. So Denise is asking, hello, I'm Denise. Can you show the easiest way how to apply animations while the data is being fetched? Like, for example, if they click a download button and it takes a while, I want the user to be aware that it is loading. So we've got tutorials on this, so I will send you this. But basically, the idea is that you create a workflow, you create a variable which tells if data is loading. So basically, what you do is that in your workflow, when you fetch data, you switch the variable to true. And then when the data is loaded, you switch the variable to false. And then you bind a loading icon, like the conditional rendering, to this variable. So basically it would say during the workflow, while the variable is true, you will display a div with a loading icon. So we've got many tutorials on this, so I will send you this, and for forms especially. So let me show you, find this. I think I created one especially for this recently. So let me, so this one, handling form submits, I will send it in the chats, which goes a bit further because it shows also how to disable the submit button, for example, but this is the same logic, and how to display a success message, but this is always the same logic, like you will just conditionally render a loader. Then we've got a question from Mula Leah. My collection list pulls out correctly and has background image on them. These images are pulled from ImageKit, which is my CDN. For some reason, after publishing my project and testing it out of my physical phone device, each time I scroll down the list, the entire page other than the navbar turns white and takes about 5-10 seconds before showing up again. Each card also has a one-click workflow, but again, on the physical device, the touch does not register immediately. Not sure if I can demo this since it only happened on my physical device, iPhone 12. I think this is an issue with the iPhone, maybe. Or like, is it on Safari? Chrome on Safari? Should be okay on iPhone 12. But this seems to me to be a bug, no flow.
Well, let me read it again.
Basically, it's not triggering a workflow and displaying images on iPhone.
Yeah, the best way would be to do a video of it and create tickets so the tech team can
on support.weweb.io. I will send it back in the
have
chat.
any questions like what version you are using and so on.
Yeah, because it will be super complex for us to debug this during the office hours on an iPhone. Yeah, sorry.
Into details. Yeah. So I took the liberty to answer a question manually, but it moved it to answered. But it was a question, Pascal.
Sorry.
So how to export a table to Excel. So you've got an extension called CSV extension. And if you add this plugin, you're gonna have a new action available in the list that is called download data as a CSV. And so you just have to provide an object, an array of objects, sorry, with all your collection basically. And then when you add this as a workflow on a button, then it's going to download it as a CSV file. So this is how you can export data basically.
Nice. We've got another question from Man Kumar. So basically from the get user location action, he wants to get the latitude and longitude. And if he wants to know if the IP is really precise. So normally it's the device IP. So it depends because some people like the IP will get obfuscated by their router. Some people are using VPN. So it's not super precise, it depends. But something we can't do. We can't do anything about this, but should be rather precise. And to get the latitude and the longitude, you should use an API that does this. So basically, you've got APIs on the web, you've got mainies. When you give them an IP, they will get you the location like with the latitude and longitude. So then you can use them in your workflow and do a REST API request to this API and get back the latitude and longitude and use it back in your WeWeb app. Because from our action, you will get only the IP address. And question from Sofiane. Is it possible to have a feasibility point of view on whether a payment scenario is doable or not using Stripe? I don't get the question, so we invite you.
Hello guys, sorry.
Hey.
My English is completely broken. I wish I could do better next time. So yes, first of all, Florian, thank you very much for the last advice you gave with the URL that points with the path. It works wonderfully in our use case.
I'm glad to hear that.
Thank you. The next questions I have is so as you know, we are building this kind of Airbnb-like platform for luxury villa in Mexico that I can share if you want. And it is a platform that looks like this. Can you check? Do you see the screen?
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
Okay. And so basically for this villa, for instance, I want to know if this villa can be considered as a product using Stripe in order to be able to do some payments. So for instance, here I have details, booking details, which are quite, can be quite complex. And here also I can have many different things and many different sub-scenarios of booking summary, like extra guest or conciergery products that people can add. As you can see here, for instance, in the booking summary in the right, I have one extra guest, and maybe tomorrow we can add yacht.
So you want to know if you can add these options in the Stripe payment, right?
Exactly, yes.
Okay, so I have the answer already. You can with dynamic parameters and dynamic pricing. The thing is, if you do this on the front end, it won't be secure because anybody could change the price. So you would need your own backend to generate, to call for Stripe with the options and generate a dynamic product, and then use the idea of this dynamic product back in WeWeb to trigger the payment flow. And this is all explained in the Stripe docs. But basically, yeah, you can have like unlimited numbers of dynamic parameters in a product.
Okay, and this is, for instance, I will use like Xano or...
For example, yeah, you can.
Okay, but I will never use the Stripe plugin from WeWeb.
You will, but what you will do is that the backend will get you back an ID, a product ID with the proper data, and you should use this ID back in the payment flow in WeWeb.
Okay, that's perfect. It's very clear. Thank you very much. Very helpful.
No worries.
Always.
And your English is nice.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
And by the way, if you want to ask questions in French, we have a French community on the No Code France Slack. So if you want to join, you could ask everything in French if that's easier for you.
It will be grateful. How can I do it?
If you go to nocodefrance.com, I think you can join the community for free. It's a Slack channel. It's basically the biggest no-code community on Earth, I think, because there is 10K people. But yeah, like we have a WeWeb channel there.
Okay, thank you, because I was feeling very alone those last months. I was thinking I was alone in the no-code thing. Thank you. I will
No,
join.
you're not. France is huge for no-code.
Cool.
But yeah.
See you soon, guys. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Welcome. Have a great day.
Yeah, we'll send you the email with the stuff we did talk about for the HIPAA-compliance. And by the way, you can find the showcase on our website. If you go on the showcase page, you will see one which is about healthcare, and it's basically Kian and the HIPAA-compliance. So yeah, hopefully we are done. That was pretty intense. So if you have any other questions, feel free to ask them next week, because we are here every week, same day, same time. And in the meantime, have a great week, everybody. Have fun building with WeWeb, and see you. Bye.
Have a good day. Bye.